DCF valuation levers. So there's quite a few of them, but there's a couple of specific ones that I want to focus on. The first one is the discount rate, which basically reflects the perceived risk and uncertainty around an investor's underwritten projected cash flows. The discount rate basically describes the additional returns that investors require based on the uncertainty related to specific investments. I think this is important because it helps in valuation metrics such as the net present value, which helps investors determine whether or not a project is worth undertaking. It is also helps to determine the unlevered yield of a project, and I think this is important for companies when they're deciding whether or not to take on leverage, because you can look at the cost of debt and the unlevered yield to see the positive or negative effects of leverage. The other thing to mention is the exit cap rate, which basically determines the property reversion values, and I think this is important in calculating metrics such as the internal rate of return. In commercial real estate, from my personal experience, we look at market rent growth. We look at the in-place rents versus the market rent growth and the lease expiration terms to kind of evaluate future expected income growth. And then the last thing that we look at is downtime, which is basically the number of months or the time it takes to get new tenants into spaces where other tenants have been vacating. And we see that the vacancy costs are relatively high and affects revenue when there's a long period of downtime. And it's relatively cheaper just to keep old tenants rather than acquiring new ones, because with the new ones you usually have to have marketing expenses associated with it, TI improvements that the new tenants require, and rent abatements, and the additional time for them to settle in. So these are some of the key DCF valuation levers.